It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? A mid-size SUV from Maruti has been years in the making, but it's finally here in the form of the Grand Vitara. And Maruti wants to reward your patience by offering a very multifaceted product. So there's manuals, there's automatics, there's a strong hybrid, and there's also an all-wheel drive version. There's lots and lots to talk about, so let's get cracking. अगर आप ये वीडियो हिंदी में देखना पसंद करेंगे, प्लीज चेक Autocar India channel. As you may know by now, the Grand Vitara has been developed by Suzuki with partner Toyota and is sister model to the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder. Both SUVs are built on Suzuki's sturdy Global C platform that underpins models like the Brezza and outgoing S-Cross. Like the Hyryder, the Grand Vitara is among the longest models in the segment, but fits right in when talking wheelbase, width and height. In the metal, the Grand Vitara looks like a fairly substantial vehicle, and its upright pillars and high bonnet give it the requisite SUV-ness. That's half the battle won. Talking styling, Maruti seems to have gone for a more upmarket look to the Toyota's sportier style. The focal point on the Grand Vitara is a large chrome-lined hexagonal grille, atop which sits a thick band of chrome that fans out to the lights. Strong hybrid versions, as the one featured here, are unique in their use of champagne chrome on the grille. The high-set LED DRLs feature a 3-point design, which is a new visual marker for Maruti's premium Nexa products, while the main headlights sit lower down on the chiseled bumper. A scuff plate also helps conform to the SUV style template. The Grand Vitara looks well proportioned in profile, but those 17-inch rims perhaps look a touch small under the squared wheel arches. There is a welcome restraint in the use of cladding, and a chrome applique at the D-pillar is a premium touch. Styling at the back is neat too, with an LED light bar-like look, chunky surrounds for the stacked taillights and a large scuff plate. What I'm very keen to know is what you think of the new Grand Vitara. Would you have one over a Toyota Hyryder or any of the other mid-size SUVs? Please do let us know in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, please do give this video a like and subscribe to Autocar India. The Grand Vitara is Maruti's range-topping model, and the good news is that it looks and feels so on the inside. The Grand Vitara is home to Maruti's best interior yet. Yes, there are a lot of familiar bits like the 9-inch touchscreen and the climate control console and a lot of the buttons on the doors as well. But what makes the difference are some of the elements that really uplift the quality levels inside the cabin, such as this soft padded material on the dashboard and the quilted leatherette upholstery for the front seats. On the subject of the seats, they're nice and large and very well cushioned. I also really like the driving position. The steering wheel is adjustable for both rake and reach, and the steering is good to hold, and these upright pillars also give you that feeling of being in an SUV. The dashboard shared with the Hyryder is attractive in its own right. Build quality and panel fit is consistently good, but poke around and you'll note a fair share of hard plastics and grainy surfaces. Worth bringing in are the different interior themes. Where the mild hybrids get a black and burgundy color theme, the strong hybrids sport an all-black look with champagne gold inserts. And where the mild hybrids make use of analog dials, the strong hybrids feature a 7-inch digital instrument screen. The power flow meter makes for cool viewing. Talking features, the Grand Vitara packs in a whole lot, and headlining that list is a panoramic sunroof, which is a first for a Maruti. The other things of note include a pop-out head-up display. It is something that you get used to quite readily, and it shows things like speed, navigation details, and also the functioning of the hybrid system. There's also that 9-inch touchscreen, which is the latest we've seen from Maruti. On the Grand Vitara, it packs in wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and there's a whole host of connected tech as well. It is quite a slick system to use. A 360-degree camera is a handy inclusion as well, even if camera resolution isn't the crispest. At the base of the center console, you'll also find a wireless phone charging pad, and a very cool inclusion here are ventilated front seats. Features some rivals get that the Grand Vitara doesn't include a power driver's seat and onboard air purifier. Do note the Grand Vitara is available in 6 trims, with the top 2 offered only on the strong hybrids. Here's a quick look at all that the range-topping Alpha Plus version comes with. In terms of storage spaces, you get bottle holders on each of the front doors. The glove box is pretty large and usable. There are 2 cup holders at the center console, and the armrest also lifts up to reveal a fairly usable storage area. And what I also like is that it is adjustable for position. In a nutshell, you're well catered to up front, but how is it for those seated at the back? So, if you're on the taller side, this is one area where the Grand Vitara falls short. As you can tell, I don't have enough headroom. I'm just under 6 feet tall. The front seat is set to my driving position, and to sit comfortably, I will have to slouch down a bit, and that does take away a bit of my knee room. That being said, I do have adequate knee room, a lot of amount of space under the front seat to move my feet about. Occupants of average height will be reasonably comfy. But this is not the roomiest of cars in this category, and that's something that is true about 3-seat comfort as well. You will find fitting 3 a bit of a tight fit. What is commendable, however, is that all 3 seats get adjustable headrests, and there's also a 3-point seat belt for the middle seat. When the middle seat is not in use, you do well to pull the armrest down and make yourself comfortable. On this subject, I really like the seat cushioning. It's really well judged, both on the base and on the backrest. And you also have the option to adjust the backrest angle, though at the frontal setting it is quite upright. As for storage at the back, you get 2 cup holders on the center armrest. There's bottle holders on the doors. You get pockets at the back of the front seats. There's a little bay to keep your mobile phone, and you also get USB Type A and Type C charging slots under the rear air conditioning vents. As for space for larger items, there are differences depending on which Grand Vitara you go for. Mild hybrid versions offer more room and also position their spare wheel in the conventional location under the boot floor. Strong hybrid versions, whose battery pack sits in the boot, offer significantly reduced luggage area. You do have the option to fold the 60-40 split rear seat backrest when you need more room. The strong hybrids also differ in the underbody position of their spare tyre. Before we get moving, a word on safety features. As standard, all versions of the Grand Vitara get anti-lock braking, front and rear disc brakes, electronic stability control, hill hold assist, 3-point seat belts for all seats, and ISOFIX child seat mounts. Dual airbags are standard, while higher spec versions add in side and curtain airbags. The model is compliant with all frontal, offset, side impact, and pedestrian protection norms. The Grand Vitara hasn't been crash tested by Global NCAP as yet, but the promise is of a strong showing. Now for the engines and gearboxes. The lineup is identical to what's offered on the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder. There's a 1.5-litre petrol mild hybrid available with a 5-speed manual gearbox, a 6-speed automatic, and a 5-speed manual with all-wheel drive. The other powertrain on offer is a strong hybrid that pairs a high-efficiency 92 horsepower 1.5-litre 3-cylinder Atkinson cycle petrol engine with an 80 horsepower AC synchronous motor. The motor alone can power the car provided there's enough juice in the 1.8 kWh lithium-ion battery pack. Together, the hybrid system produces 115 horsepower with all the power sent to the front wheels via an eCVT. There's no diesel engine option, but the hybrid petrols are the most economical of their type. Over this video, we'll talk of the 2 most interesting versions of the Grand Vitara, the strong hybrid and the all-wheel drive. Into the Grand Vitara strong hybrid, or as Maruti calls it, intelligent electric hybrid. The very first thing that gets you about the Grand Vitara strong hybrid is how quiet it is. Now, I'm just going to start the car. And there we are, good to go. no engine sound, nothing. Because there's enough charge in the battery, it is the sole source of power at this moment. All I can hear right now is a bit from the AC's blower and a gentle hum from the ventilated seats. Maruti says 50 to 60% of your driving in town will be in EV mode only, and I have experienced that or got a taste of it in this small journey through the chaos of Udaipur. I have been predominantly in EV mode, powered solely by the electric motor. When battery charge reduces below a certain level, or when you simply want more in terms of acceleration and press down harder on the accelerator pedal, the engine will spring back to life. Now, it is audible. It's not a loud engine per se. Yes, it is a 3-cylinder unit and does sound a bit grainy. It's just that it's so easy to get used to the silence of EV mode that the engine's muted sound also is quite pronounced. An EV mode button allows you to run the Grand Vitara on electric power alone, but again, state of charge and throttle position, among other things, dictate how far you'll go before the engine joins in proceedings. Now, before you ask, Maruti hasn't revealed an EV-only range for the Grand Vitara, but the number that they have revealed is for fuel economy, which stands at 27 kilometers a litre under standard test conditions. Now, we'll have to see what that works out to in real world driving when we get the car for test back home in Mumbai. But as a base figure, as a starting point, that is one hell of a number. We don't go easy on cars over media drive, so it was very satisfying to see indicated economy upwards of 15 kilometers to the litre. In town, the other highlight was ride comfort. One of the highlights of the Grand Vitara has got to be its ride quality. The suspension is absorbent, it works quietly, and really softens the blow of our roads. What you will appreciate is that the Grand Vitara is easy to maneuver in town with a nice and light steering. Our test route included some beautiful hills around Udaipur. Tellingly, the Grand Vitara Strong Hybrid didn't feel out of place on the climbs. The Grand Vitara's power output is alright, and you might imagine that on a steep climb like the one I'm on right now, the car might struggle. But that is where strong hybrids really shine. Because, say after a hairpin like the one I just took, the engine at low RPMs wouldn't have all that much power to give, but the electric motor kicks in there, gives the torque that you need, and actually makes the whole experience of climbing up quite effortless. The descents meanwhile help juice up the battery pack. Like other strong hybrids, the Grand Vitara has a B mode or a brake mode. Now its job is to increase the effect of engine braking, and in a hybrid what that also does is increases the regen. So as your car slows down, your battery also recharges that much more. And where this feature is most useful is when you're going downhill. The self-charging system, as it were, works well, but is the Grand Vitara fun in the twisties? On a winding road, the Grand Vitara is pleasant, but not what you'd call entertaining. There is a good amount of feel from the steering wheel and handling is quite neat, but it's not the sharpest of the SUVs you can have for this money. Outright performance is also down on like-priced but more powerful turbo petrol rivals. Out on the open road like a highway, you will note that it's the engine that's doing the heavy lifting. So, say when you're at cruising speeds, you want to make a quick overtake, you press down hard on the accelerator. The engine note does become more pronounced, it does get quite audible, and performance and the build of speed is decent, but it's not something that will get your heart racing. You can fine-tune the drive experience to an extent with drive modes. The Grand Vitara comes with 3 drive modes. There's Eco, Normal and Par. Eco is, well, quite restricted. Normal gets the job done, and Par actually adds a spring in the Grand Vitara step. It feels readier and more alert. Time to drop speed and get dirty. Over to the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive. Our introduction to the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive was on an obstacle course designed to simulate the conditions the SUV is built for. The Grand Vitara all-wheel drive uses Suzuki's All-Grip Select technology. The Select in the name is there to emphasize selectable modes, namely Auto, that's the default setting, Sport, Snow and Lock, some of which we'll cover over the course. The basic ingredients are an electronic coupling-based all-wheel drive system and steering angle, throttle position and other sensors that help the unit decide when and how much power to apportion to the rear axle for maximum traction. The course started with a steep drop into and a climb out of a fairly deep pit, which the Grand Vitara managed without stress. Next up was another climb and a test of hill hold control. I climb, stop, and now hill hold control should keep me in my position for at least 3 seconds after I leave the brake, and I'm doing that now. Yep, so it works. Now what goes up must come down, and there is hill descent control, which is preset to 10 kilometers an hour. Now on the journey down, I'm not going to be pressing the brake. The electronics are going to do all the hard work for me. So here goes. Okay. Next up was the articulation test, something you typically wouldn't attempt in a mid-sized SUV. This could be thought of as a simulation of many of our cities' roads after the monsoons. As the Cretas got deeper on the path, I was advised to switch to Lock, which is a subset of Snow mode. Lock splits power 50-50 between the front and rear axles for max traction, and also features brake locking differential that can individually brake a spinning wheel, allowing power to go to the wheel with traction. The function is helpful in a setting like this where the wheels are in the air for a bit of the time. You can hear the systems working in the background, but the important thing is I'm out, and that's all that matters. A precarious entry led us to the slush pit, where your ordinary front-wheel drive SUV would get bogged down. There was traction and forward motion in all modes, though the Grand Vitara felt most reassuring in Lock. Yeah, this is your get out of jail card in the rough. I must say I'm quite impressed with what the Grand Vitara can do, because this is proper thick slush. So it should be monsoon proof. The rocky path that followed was a good test of ground clearance that stands at 210mm. A side incline test, a seesaw, and even a quick run up an icy surface followed. We didn't get a chance to drive the all-wheel drive on road to test Sport mode that brings in a livelier throttle and also apportions power to the rear wheels to enhance handling. That said, the obstacle course sure established the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive as the most rugged mid-sized SUV you can buy. We'll cover the mild hybrid manual and automatic versions in the following video, so stay tuned for that. The Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara does make a very good first impression. It's got the upright SUV style, it's got the flash, and it's got the features. It's not the roomiest of mid-sized SUVs, nor is it the most exciting to drive, but for a majority of buyers, the Grand Vitara easily fits the bill as a sensible SUV for the family. The efficiency numbers hold sway in their own right, and it's genuinely nice to see Maruti being adventurous with an all-wheel drive variant. Pricing isn't out as yet, but we expect the range to start around 12 lakh rupees, with the highlight being the fully loaded strong hybrid that's likely to come in at a very tempting 19 lakh rupees. Maruti and Toyota should truly be lauded for democratizing strong hybrid tech that is just so well suited to Indian requirements. In many ways, the Grand Vitara will be a test of the Maruti brand and how far up the price ladder it can go. But if the 53,000 plus pre-bookings figure is anything to go by, the Grand Vitara is clearly set for a grand reception.